what happens when you want to train the inside of your sides or your adductors and you do not have enough range of motion. One is a common exercise to lie down on your back and straddle the legs and bring them back together. However, if you do not have a lot of range of motion and you get in something like maybe 90 degrees of movement or 100 degrees of movement, you're really not using gravity because most of the time your legs are over your body. So there are 4 exercises that you can use even if you do not have a large range of motion in your inner thighs to strengthen your inner thighs, and then work with that to increase the flexibility before you go to other exercises. Now, so I'm going to show you 4 exercises. They all look similar in terms of the hips. In terms of the knees, they're slightly different. Okay. First exercise is a wide squat. Okay. So what you do here is you bring your legs as wide as possible so that your knees would go over your leg. You squat down and you come back up. In a regular squat, you have to bend forward slightly from the hips. That's because otherwise the knees are going to go too much forward and your heels are going to lift. In a wide squat, you don't have to do that. You can keep your body completely vertical. Okay, just make sure that your knees go over the direction of your feet. You do not want your knees to go in. You do not want your knees to go out. Have one knee in, one knee out. You want the knee to go exactly in the direction of your toes. That's how you want them to go. If you feel like you're doing the squat and your knees are going in, that means that your legs are too wide and you need to bring your legs together. Okay, this is fine too. Okay, so the first exercise is the wide squat. It works a little bit of your hamstrings, it works your quadricep, but it also works your inner thigh. Okay. Second exercise is a deadlift. White leg deadlift looks very similar except for when your body is vertical, the hands are not reaching the floor. In a deadlift, your hands reach the floor. A little bit more motion at the hips by leaning forward. Okay, so this is a deadlift. Legs are wide, coming down, coming up. Okay, 2 more exercises. On the next 2 exercises, the toes are forward. Okay, here we have the toes out to the side. If you're very flexible, maybe the toes completely out. But here we have the toes forward. So from here we're going to bend the knees just a little bit. Go forward as much as you can from the hip. And come back up. Okay, another angle. Forward, knees slightly bend. And up. The more advanced option, the hamstring here would be the limiting factor, so if you do not have flexible hamstring, you shouldn't do this, is to keep the legs completely straight. And from here to go forward and to come back up. Notice if your legs are too close together, you're not really going to feel anything. Meaning that if your legs are close together, as opposed to legs being, let's say, this wide, here you would feel the inner thighs are holding it together, otherwise the legs would slide out to the side. Okay? Here you're not going to feel it. Your gravity goes straight down and the inner thighs don't work that much. However, by going forward, although you're activating your whole posterior chain here, you will also be activating your inner thigh a little bit because your legs are wider. Just like any good forward bend, make sure you go from the hip, only from the hip. The second you feel like your back is beginning to bend, stop right there. That could be your range of motion. If you notice that you're doing this is all you have no hamstring flexibility, you have no inner thigh flexibility, this is all you can do. First master this movement. That's all it takes. First master that movement. Then begin to work on the flexibility by trying to lean forward as much as you can. Maybe place your hand in a chair or yoga block. Stay in this position, relax the hamstring. You're going to go forward a little bit more. Okay. At the same time, once you have mastered the basic movement, nothing hurts, you have good solid movement, you can use a dumbbell or a barbell to actually add more weight, more resistance. Okay? And then go from there. Notice, when your muscles are warm, they're going to let you stretch them a little bit more. So in conclusion, 4 exercises. The goal of all of them is to target the inner thigh, if you don't have a lot of flexibility in the inner side in terms of strengths. Okay, we have squat, okay, wide squat, body vertical. Once the hands go to the floor, it becomes wide deadlift. Another angle, wide squat, body vertical. If you do not have a lot of flexibility, instead of regular squat, bring the legs a little bit wider. Okay, a little bit wider. You might have to go forward a little bit more than you would in a really wide squat, but that's fine as well. Okay, after that we have the deadlift. In the deadlift, once again, if this is your regular deadlift, you want to engage the inner side a little bit more, bring the legs a little bit wider. They don't have to be crazy wide, just a little bit wider, and you will engage the inner side more. And the last two exercises, we're going to bend forward with the knees slightly bent. Bending forward with the knees slightly bent. And bending forward with the knees completely straight. Once you have mastered some range of motion with the knees bent. Okay?